This is the top of the hour from the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn. Instead of commercials, you've got progressive news and interviews right here at the top of the hour.
Cary Harrison with you. This is Top of the Hour on TuneIn Radio's Progressive Voices channel. I want to introduce you to a man by the name of Steve Miller. He's with an organization called TicketBust.com. And throughout the country, many of us have gone screaming through intersections which have automatic cameras that take your picture in the intersection and accuse you of having gone through a red light. Though it may have looked amber, it may have looked green to you, it may have even have looked red to you, admittedly. But often in those pictures, the red light is never even presented. And Steve is with TicketBust.com. And Steve, you guys got together and you said, you know what, throughout Los Angeles, for instance, they simply don't use them anymore because they're so corrupt and undependable. But a couple of places like world-famous Beverly Hills and West Hollywood still use them, along with huge cities like the third largest in the country, Chicago. This is an ongoing major event, isn't it?
Yeah, red light cameras are used throughout the state of California and in other states. Matter of fact, most of the red light camera companies are located in Arizona. But it's an interesting topic you bring up because a lot of people think as of last year they got rid of the red light cameras because everybody heard about the story in L.A. where L.A. City only, not county, L.A. City only turned off their red light cameras and got rid of them. So they think that all red light cameras are gone, and that is just not the case.
And I am a witness to that. I will not elaborate further, but I will tell you, you saved my neck, which is why I want to have you on, because there, like me, are hundreds of thousands of others in the same predicament, thinking, oh, it's no big deal. L.A. simply doesn't use them. Not correct. Two huge cities do use them, along with other parts of the rest of the country. So what you guys do is you don't show up in court. You actually write something called a trial by declaration. What's that?
Yeah, you know, a trial by declaration is something that came about in 1974. If you turn over any traffic ticket, you'll see on the back of the ticket, it gives you your options for contesting that traffic ticket. You'll see traffic school, you'll see go to court, you'll see plead guilty, pay the fine, and one of the options is a trial by written declaration. And what that allows you to do, and it allows any driver who receives a ticket in California, you could live in California, you could live out of the state, the only requirement is you got the ticket in California. It allows you to contest that ticket using California trial by written declaration documents. And basically, this is a way to contest a traffic ticket without going to court. Now, you do have to know how to prepare this properly. It's not just, hey, you know, send a letter into the court, I didn't do it, and they'll dismiss the ticket. That's absolutely not the case. You do have to put forth a proper defense, and you have to know what to say and what not to say on a trial by declaration to maximize your chances of getting that ticket dismissed.
This is the top of the hour from the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn.
Cary Harrison with you. We're talking to Steve Miller. He is with an organization called TicketBust.com. That's TicketBust, TicketBust.com. California, with a population of about 36 million, the size of Canada, the entire country of that, is one of the many states that uses these cameras that take pictures of you as you go through the intersection. It's a form of unlovely surveillance. And Steve, as we're going to continue this in the next hour, but one of the things that happened in the picture of me going through this thing is that there is no actual red light camera presented in the photographic evidence. It's like charging somebody for murder, but there's no body. There's no body here. And this is some of the stuff that you guys point out so successfully.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different ways to contest a red light traffic ticket, or any ticket for that matter, whether, you know, you actually did what they're alleging you did or not. And one of the things that you can do with a red light camera ticket is you can check out the contracts that the city has with the camera companies. You could look at, is the red light in the picture? You could look at the timing of when they sent you that notice compared to when you actually received that ticket. If it's more than, I believe it's 15 days, they throw out the ticket. There's different requirements that have to be met in order for it to be a valid ticket.
And we're going to get into much of that further. This is a frisky moment for us to level the playing field on behalf of the citizens who end up feeling stuck by this and overwhelmed with possible points on a driver's license, the expense of $500 as it is here in Los Angeles, plus fines, plus all the other stuff. It can end up costing thousands of dollars. And these guys have got together on the side of we the people to give us a fighting chance against the surveillance system and the invisible and often unprovable charges against us. We're talking with Steve Miller. Next hour here on TuneIn Radio, we're going to take a look at the kinds of tickets that we might be getting that are contestable and ways to do it using his particular system. Cary Harrison with you. This is Top of the Hour, TuneIn Radio's Progressive Voices channel.
You've been listening to Top of the Hour on the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn. Commercial-free interviews and exclusive progressive news and information at the top of the hour. This is the Top of the Hour from the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn. Instead of commercials, you've got progressive news and interviews right here at the top of the hour.
Cary Harrison with you. This is Top of the Hour on TuneIn Radio's Progressive Voices channel. If you own a car, out of the 310 million of us in the U.S., you probably have had something in your life called a driving ticket, a parking ticket, some kind of ticket. They are, in many of our experience, not something you simply blow off as if it will go away, like a mosquito bite. If I don't scratch it, it will simply disappear on its own. No. You get what I like to call a DMV hangover. It goes on and on. It can affect your driving points, your insurance rates, even your credit rating. They can become huge and monumental. One way the state has of keeping control and increasing revenue for itself. Well, we feel powerless. What are we supposed to do? Well, I want to bring in Steve Miller. He's with an organization called TicketBust.com. That's TicketBust.com. And what they do, and they're based here in California, in Los Angeles. We've got them on via Skype right now. What they do is find ways to rescue you from the particular hell that you find yourself in. We all feel like there's no way out. We're told almost officially, just pay it, just deal with it. But in fact, Steve, you guys have found a way to rescue many of the 36 million people in California and many others in other states by arguing the case on paper so that people don't even have to appear in front of a judge.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Cary. What we do, as we were saying, is a trial by written declaration. You do not need to go to court on a trial by written declaration. And you bring up an interesting point. You say that, people tell you just pay the ticket, there's nothing you can do. And that's something that every court will try to scare you into. You go into court to contest a traffic ticket, the bailiff stands up and they say, hey, listen, you're not going to get your ticket dismissed. Either pay it, or if you're eligible for traffic school, take it now, because if you present your case in front of the judge, he's not going to dismiss it, so don't waste your time. What the bailiff is doing is trying to basically save the court money by getting you out of the court. It costs the court hundreds and thousands of dollars every day for people contesting traffic tickets. And if they could eliminate their caseload and get people out of court, it saves them money. And that's where a trial by declaration comes in, because actually the court likes a trial by written declaration because you do not appear in court, which in turn, whether you're guilty or innocent, saves the court lots of money. So they encourage a trial by written declaration, which again is a way to contest the ticket properly without going to court.
This is the Top of the Hour from the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn.
Now, Steve Miller with TicketBust.com, who's explaining to us right here, right now, how many of these traffic tickets we get, moving violations and such, can be dismissed in writing, so you don't have to physically go to the courthouse, as I did yesterday. The elevator, of course, doesn't work. And not only that, they frisk me. It makes the TSA look like a bunch of old ladies. I mean, it's a ribald joke. You end up being late. It's a major pain, and there's fines and fees and assessments, all the rest of it. He's pointing out that you can simply write this thing, and these guys have found a way to basically clear your name. What types of tickets, Steve, can actually be contested?
Well, various types of tickets can be contested in California. You could contest speeding tickets, whether they got you on radar, LiDAR, binoculars, aircraft.
Did you say LiDAR? LiDAR?
LiDAR, yes. LiDAR is a laser. It's different than a radar. It uses a different wavelength to, tag your speed. So any type of speeding ticket can be contested. We're talking about red light photo tickets. Obviously, whether it's a red light photo ticket or an officer red light ticket, that could be contested. A stop sign ticket, a no left turn, right turn, not stopping behind the limit line, a cell phone ticket, which is very common these days, and the laws are changing all the time with cell phone use. Those can be contested. You can contest just about any traffic infraction except for misdemeanors. A misdemeanor is like if an accident is involved or if it's drunk driving or something like that. Now, you have to have a valid driver's license. So if your driver's license is expired, you won't be able to use a trial by declaration. You have to be over the age of 18. But those are really the only requirements.
And quickly, Steve, our friends in New York City or Alabama, Florida, places like this, are there options where they can look to you to help them?
Absolutely. We do a lot of tickets for people who do not live in California. There's no requirement to live in California to contest a ticket with the trial by declaration. You just have to have received that ticket in California. And with what we do, especially, we deal with a lot of commercial drivers also. Now, they have to keep tickets off their record. They're rarely in one place at one time, so going to a court date is sort of prohibited to them. They can hardly make it to a court date, otherwise they have to take a day off work, and they could be in Alabama driving a truck or something that day. So a trial by declaration is the best way for them.
But what about truckers listening to Tune In right now as a stream who aren't allowed simply just to take days off and go to traffic court? That next time. Cary Harrison with you. This is Top of the Hour, Tune In Radio's Progressive Voices.
You've been listening to Top of the Hour on the Progressive Voices channel on Tune In. Commercial-free interviews and exclusive progressive news and information at the top of the hour. This is the Top of the Hour from the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn. Instead of commercials, you've got progressive news and interviews right here at the top of the hour.
Cary Harrison with you. This is Top of the Hour on TuneIn Radio's Progressive Voices channel. Wherever we live, whether it's an urban area or a rural area, whether we're driving a private car or we're a trucker, we all end up running the risk of getting a ticket, and pretty much everybody has had that experience before, but not all of us have understood what are our rights. If you're a trucker, you cannot go to driving school. There are lots of different limitations depending on what state you live in. So we've got with us right now Stephen Miller. He is with TicketBust.com explaining some of the workarounds so that you and I have a chance to understand the system, the surveillance system that we're suddenly thrust into. Steve, what about truckers? They definitely have a different deal.
People with a Class A driver's license versus the normal everyday driver who has a Class C is they are not allowed to go to traffic school. So they don't even have that option. So to keep their job, to keep points off their record, to save their ability to earn a living, they have to contest any traffic ticket they receive, and a trial by declaration is the best way.
And so what we're finding out here as we look to balance the playing field of the 50 states plus the 52 other protectorates that the U.S. has, including probably Guam and other places of a very far reach, what you guys have done, you got together here in Los Angeles, where we so famously have so many of these traffic cameras that take pictures of you in the intersection. They're made in Arizona, which I find poignant and believable. Sheriff Joe probably grinning all the way to the bank, having some financial interest, probably Jan Brewer as well. That this goes on constantly, and that so many of us, as you pointed out earlier, Steve Miller with TicketBust.com, TicketBust.com, that the bailiff in court will try to just tell you, pay it, leave, get out, because it's so expensive for the court simply to have you in there, and they'd rather you just pay it and split. And what you're saying is that we, the people, actually have these rights that you'd think the court would point out. By the way, you have sort of a Miranda rights for how the trial is supposed to work, but they're not required to disclose that. They just do what's expedient and convenient. And what you guys do is tell us we can actually fight this thing.
This is the Top of the Hour from the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn.
What about your success rate, Steve Miller of TicketBust.com?
Yeah, we do a very good job. I mean, we've contested over 75,000 tickets in the last 9 years and do a very good job helping people get tickets dismissed. Now, here's the beauty of a trial by declaration. First off, not every ticket is dismissed. I mean, we do the best we can, but obviously nobody bats 100%. If a ticket is not dismissed, a trial by declaration is one of the only opportunities in the California legal system that really allows you two bites at the apple. Because if the ticket is dismissed, it's off your record, the bail's returned to you, it's like it never happened. If it's not dismissed, you still have the right to go to traffic school if you're eligible and or have a court date. So it puts you right back where you started before the trial by declaration. So a trial by declaration is sort of a no-brainer. If you get the ticket dismissed, great. If not, you're right back where you were to begin with, no harm done.
Cary Harrison with you. We are talking to Stephen Miller. Stephen is with TicketBust.com talking about the national issue of all of us paying out gobs of cash to our various states, cities, municipalities for traffic tickets, whatever they may look like, with insufficient information of how we can even combat, battle, or contest this. And his organization, called TicketBust.com, has leveled the playing field and let us know what we could do to take care of it. And he does that for you because most of us don't have the time to run into court, don't have the time to go to traffic school, and don't have the resources and finances to shell out a couple of grand. You mentioned bail, Steve. A lot of us forget you have to post bail $300-$500 in order to even be in this process, or you go to jail.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things required when you contest a traffic ticket is posting bail. Now, the bail is the same thing as the fine. It's just until you're found guilty, it's called bail. So if your bail is $300, you have to post that with the trial by declaration. However, if the ticket is dismissed, they refund that bail 100% of the time in full. So don't think like you're paying the money to the court and they're just going to keep it and find you guilty. That is not the case. It's refunded 100% of the time in full when the ticket is dismissed.
Without interest.
Yes, unfortunately without interest. They can hold it for 6 months till the case is resolved and then pay it back without interest. But the minimal amount of interest you would have earned on it is well worth not having the ticket on your record, getting your money back, not having your insurance go up. Matter of fact, they say that the cost of a ticket on your record over a 3-year span potentially could be several $1,000s. Not only the fine, but the increase in insurance over those years.
Cary Harrison with you. This is Top of the Hour, TuneIn Radio's Progressive Voices.
You've been listening to Top of the Hour on the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn. Commercial-free interviews and exclusive progressive news and information at the top of the hour.